Yeah, you wanna put that dish in your mouth.
Wish you could slide into my mind and make me mine. Push play rewind. Let's whip outside, and so am I.
And we're good. Hey, everybody, I'm Dylan V. Dickerson White from a different location today, Mr. Trans USA 2022. We're here to do our interview with our Mr. Trans Oklahoma 2023, who'll be competing this November at Nationals, Scrappy Legacy. And I kind of wanted to, a lot of you know Scrappy from his time in Oklahoma performing, all the work he does in the community, and I thought it would be best to have him introduce himself a little bit more and tell us about why he's joined Trans USA this year. So go ahead and take it away.
All right, hi. My name is Scrappy Legacy, and then from my 9 to 5, I'm Shay Brewer. The reason why I wanted to do Trans US of A is because I feel like I have a broad platform that I can use with my being able to travel and just the connection with the community now, and just even networking even better. Like I just feel like my voice is time to be heard to tell my story.
No, I like, yeah, I like that answer, short and sweet and to the point too. Yeah, but that kind of gets me into a next question, maybe a open-ended. So, what is your story?
Let's see. I come from a big Christian background. Grew up like that. My dad was pretty open with everything, not my mom. So I couldn't really start transitioning until I was like 18 or whatever. And even that was hard because you kind of find out who's your friends and who aren't your friends. Like, so it's like, and just the respectful level that sometimes people care more about what you have in between than you have in your mind and your heart. And that kind of like really at a young age kind of being able to realize that that it hurt a lot. A lot of mental damage goes upon that, and with those things you go into dark times, and dark times put you in bad places. And if you don't have that positivity around you, what else are you kind of left with? Just society. And I just and then like once I got a little bit more involved in doing drag, and that's when I come to find out there were a lot more people that were trans, and just like ways that I can like, oh my gosh, I can go to this clinic. Oh, they accept me. It's okay. Oh, somebody else feels like me. So just that beginning of that story was a really big beginning of where I kind of want to be.
And there's so many pieces of that too that are related, and I have so many kind of questions built off of that. Just it was still relatively young for you when you came out and started transitioning. So I kind of knowing that age group, that late teens, mid teens, like it's really being targeted right now. And I think Oklahoma, it's kind of even more so, especially in a lot of the southern areas. So like, what is it? First of all, maybe we should back up with that too. Like, what is it like being trans in Oklahoma now? You think for you and for the youth?
For me, just because I'm looking the role, it's a little bit better for me. But when it comes to the youth that are just now beginning to transition, you're having to deal with schools and how they're not respecting your name, and some policies do respect their name, and it's like just the whole bathroom policies. Like there's just so much pressure on them that it's just really unreal because I didn't have to go through that, and you have the suicide rate that is higher. You got kids that are outside, like, rallying that, hey, we want things to change in our school. We didn't have that in our school. Everybody was quiet, and, you just kind of kept that to yourself. And like after the 2000s hit, it's kind of when things were more abroad.
And everybody sees what you're doing too. Like if you're one of those kids, for example, speaking out and even on behalf, that's on social media now and everybody sees it, and that kid becomes a target of attack. So I feel like that pressure, like that, yeah, we didn't have that kind of same scrutiny or pressure even when we were going through these things. So imagining that on top of it is
Right.
like,
Right. Then the whole point of the medical side of it, everybody's having to venture off and not be in Oklahoma because doctors are going to go to jail if they are, servicing you, and that's just that's just unreal. And I'm like, just it's these kids can't be who they are, and a lot of the times it's these parents that are backing them, and it's their parents, and they see their kids hurting, and it's just like a lot of the times everybody is just looking for that support here in Oklahoma now. And that is like one of our biggest things as of now. It's like our support system, our support groups that we have going on, the things that are just staying abroad. Like at the center, we have like our trans support group. It's for the adults. We have non-binary. We have like, male to female. Like it's like, and and then you get the education of the medical side of it, and you get people that are around that kind of know things that other people don't know. It's just like you don't know everything as a trans person. Every time I meet somebody new, I find something new. Like,
Like one of those things that it's the community is so broad and like so all encompassing that I'll admit there are a lot of things that I've had to get educated on too, on sort of the trans feminine side and some of their hormones and some of their procedures, just to be able to even know where to direct people to those resources. Like it's
right,
something that none of us know everything, and I think that power of, hey, getting together here, especially when you're faced with laws like that and bill and all these different things, like knowing those connections is going to help give those resources. And I know that you're a big part of coordinating all that. And we did kind of get into that too about the parents side of it and the youth. I'm just wondering if you have any particular message you want to send to those parents who are really trying to support their trans and non-binary youth right now.
I honestly like I get really emotional when I talk about this, but honestly, I get like little bitty messages from, I don't call them little messages, big messages from these kids, and then their parents. They're like, "What is it that we can do? I just want my kid or whatever." And I'm like, these parents, just stick with them, just make sure that they hang on, make sure they got somebody to talk to, because as soon as you let go, it's not gonna be good. As soon as you give up, I mean, their hope is in you because it
Yeah.
ain't out there. So it's such a touchy subject. I've seen parents bawl over their kids. I know my parents didn't bawl over me doing that. They just thought it was wrong. But just to see the passion with these parents that I see coming now, the new generation, like it's fun. It's freaking awesome. It's really awesome.
I I don't know. This is I get emotional about it too. Like if I had had that sort of backing,
Yeah,
how different my life would have been.
definitely that. People don't understand that it's sometimes it's life and death. It's life and death. You never know what those triggers are. Just because you can't pay for something or you don't have the support group behind you, even in your friends, like it's you definitely need to get educated behind somebody that is trans. And if you're really gonna be their friends and be there for them, then you need to be supporting them seriously. So yeah, that's my little spill on that.
Yeah. Stick with your kids and get the education you need on it. And
Because it's out here. You might have to find it, but it's here. It is. And but again, we have to stay secret about that because people are still looking at us. They're still watching what we're doing. They still, people wake up in the day, hey, we're going to try to ruin LGBTQ community.
I sometimes feel like that's like, today is that's my mission. And you make a good point of trying to like that scrutiny of having to always be, perfect, I guess, and always watch your back. And I think that there's so much pressure like we face. And I know that I personally, even just the more and more people that know who you are in the community, in the trans community, especially, I don't know if you can say the same. Do you feel like you're under a lot more scrutiny now?
Oh, definitely, definitely. I mean, you sneeze the wrong way sometimes, but you know what? I like that pressure because I didn't used to be this way. I didn't used to always help people. I didn't always, it takes something to happen in your life to put you on a journey where you're going. You know what I mean? So it's so I'm just a lot of kids look at me because doing a lot of prides and just like open community things. Like again, like I just always I like it though. I like the pressure. I really do. But I also like the pressure because you can correct a lot of people too that aren't really educated on there and they think they know.
That's actually a really good point. And it's a question I've asked a few times in here in these interviews, and just because it helps right now, even clearing it up. What is like one of the bigger misconceptions that even within the trans community, some trans people have about being trans?
It's a choice. It's a choice and you're confused and I don't get it. I don't think you know what you're doing. Like it's just
Yeah,
I, like I think you've been feeling this way after 5 or 6 years and probably your whole life. I think you kind of know where you're going, you know?
Yeah, and it's one of those things that even now I feel like especially is a silly thing for people to say because with all that's facing the community right now, do you think anyone would really choose?
Exactly.
And most of us, I feel like, have tried,
Yeah,
just because we know that pressure.
yeah.
Try to, I'm sure you've heard those same stories, and I was one of those people that kind of tried to lean into being more feminine, and it didn't work.
And then you start changing your own mind about how you are, you know? It just, you
Yeah,
stick
yeah,
with your own.
yeah. It's, I think that's a really big one too. It's a choice, and that at any, or the whole thing I hear today is, it's a phase.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Okay, well, I guess this is a permanent phase, so a
Yeah,
phase is the new permanent.
right. We sometimes talk a lot about, some of those misconceptions or a lot of the things that are going wrong. That we just did for about, 8 minutes or so. But I want to ask, because this is also important, to recognize the small victories or the big victories. Like, what do you think is something that's actually going right for us as a community now?
That we're still sticking with our prides, we're still sticking and being visible, we're still waving our flags, we're still having our groups, we're still like, we're actually kind of being a little more bolder because we can be found. Like, a lot of the times you couldn't Google trans,
Yeah,
it's just not like that no more. We have support groups on Facebook. Like, there's so many different things to utilize now. Like, and I think that's going great for us. We just can't be silent.
absolutely. Like, and then I remember even when you used to Google things, everything that came up was negative,
Yep. Exactly.
years ago, and it's just kind of incredible to see. Well, I wouldn't even say 10, mostly like 15 years ago now for us, I think.
Yeah.
So aging ourselves a little,
Exactly.
but yeah, having that, and I think that might even be part of why we're getting such that backlash now. They see us a lot more now.
There you go. Exactly. Oh, I see you guys are still doing stuff. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Like, well, I'm not sorry. No.
uh,
But yeah, I'm totally in agree. So this is another like fun thing, and I know because it was for me this way. Like performing is kind of what led me to realize things about myself.
right.
So I've been asking different questions. One of them was, pet peeves in the dressing room, but I have a different one, and I think it's more fun, more positive spin on that. Right now, in the last like year or so, as a performer, do you feel like there's any one song, maybe you haven't even performed it yet, that kind of speaks to that spirit of like we're still here and fighting, like that sort of trans anthem right now, even if it's just for you?
Oh, and this one is for the champion of industry baby. Why
Yeah,
not?
that's because I feel like we always ask the questions that are a little more negative, but that one's really fun. I'm trying to think of one even now.
I like that.
Like it varies for me. Like Trust Fall, the Pink, it's for some reason, it was a good one for me. And then sometimes I just get really I don't even know if I should say some of these, like some of them are a
Okay,
little more anger,
Chris songs, right?
yeah, those like rage out ones, and
Okay.
but like yeah, no one's like Killer in the Mirror. But yeah, it's just about those listening. I have different moods and I go to different ones, so
Right, right, right. That's hilarious.
again, under scrutiny, don't want to say too many of those right here.
Right, right, right. Got you. Stay in the positive.
So definitely, I think maybe for these interviews go out to a lot of different people. And we talk about performing and maybe people who are and are not performers. But this is another question I feel like as a performer, is there any is a fun one. Yeah, that's not the question I was going to ask. ADD break, right? What was your first performance, and do you remember anything about it?
Yes, I do remember my first performance. It was actually at OYP. That was a different youth. It was a youth project that we used to have in Tulsa that was around for a very long time, and I do remember it. Yes, and I remember dancing with my girlfriend at the time, and we did Missy Elliott.
I'm enjoying.
So yeah, definitely do remember my first one.
I mean, I meant that in his ways. Like I remember the first, song I did was it was our college drag show, which had like 700 people in attendance and every drag performer in the city. So I was preparing forever and freaking out about it. But the thing is, I remember the song Bad Boy Boogie, AC/DC. I did a whole routine with backup dancers and everything, but I don't actually remember a lot of what went on. I see pictures of. I just by the time it was over, So that's why I asked. Like, 'cause you get that adrenaline rush and you just don't even remember what happens.
It was everything because I thought I'd never be able to do it again. So I don't know.
Yeah, no, but that was one of those moments for me. I was like, oh,
That's awesome. What college was that?
I went to Pitt. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool though. Was that the first show that they had?
No, they had done it every year.
That's cool that they participate in that though.
Yeah, it was kind of incredible that even, oh God, this was approaching 20 years ago that they were doing this, and it was a really big event there. And it's still ongoing. So I love that. But I wasn't a thing that was very common at the time for colleges to have drag shows, but I see them everywhere now.
Right.
Which is so cool.
Yeah, I love that.
Have you ever done any college shows?
Yeah. I actually do the one that's Queens, and we do one that's at Tahlequah. They're very big about that. Queens is TU. That's TU's college, and they have their whole youth and stuff. Like it's pretty dope. I like it, and they have a lot of people there.
That's huge events. Everyone's super excited about it.
It's just the energy. It ain't about the money. I love the energy. The energy is everything. A room full of crowds beats a bucket full of money to me.
Absolutely, 100%. If you are 5,000 people in a room, just like that was my Milwaukee experience, which you're gonna have a great time definitely in November. So that's where I wanted to kind of like shift gears for that. So since you've been in a lot of pageants before, we both have. I know that prep is a little bit different for this one. So what you say you're working on differently now than you have for some of the others?
The state costume is pretty awesome, like because it's like really over the top, Las Vegas. Like it's like more of I look at male lead pageants and stuff because a lot of that stuff, like so it's kind of getting you on that male lead kind of road, and I really am excited about that. I'm excited about the swimsuit, but yes, it's actually the state costume. Yeah.
That was one of my ones. Like I said, it was really fun to kind of play around with, And
yeah, definitely that. Excited about that.
I'd have to ask, and I'm trying to read my own handwriting here, because this is nobody wants to see this because it gets worse and worse as the day goes on. But I feel like as I get older, it gets worse. So by the time I get to
as long as you can read it, that's all that matters.
Sometimes this is why we type stuff. These guys.
You're gonna be using symbols here soon.
It might well be at this point. So a lot of our is focusing on two aspects, and they're kind of related. Trans excellence and visibility. And I've been asking people, I think more so now, why is visibility important right now?
Visibility right now is very important because if people can't see me, they can't see them.
Yeah.
So it's just exactly like, and it's such a big thing again, because when you're visible, that's that hope. That's that I can do it. That's that strength, it spells a lot.
It really, it's yeah, because I mean, I remember my whole thing for Pride this year, I put out a message and it said, visibility isn't about being seen, it's about making other people feel seen. And like that's exactly what so I just thought it was really cool.
That's what's up. We on the same mind. That's all.
Wavelength. And so yeah, the flip side of that is, when you're visible, people get to see this idea of trans excellence, and it means different things for different people. And so I was like, what does that mean for you? What does that look like for you to achieve?
For me to like win it, to achieve like that, or to just like kind of go for it. I'm not.
Just the idea of trans excellence. Like, how do you know that you've achieved that for yourself? a hard thing.
When I achieve that for myself is when I'm definitely when it's okay when I see people reaching out to me, and I'm actually taking the time to answer them. Because there'll be so many people that'll come up to me and say, "Oh my gosh, I didn't think that you would talk to me." Why? Like, but I get that because I've seen people, kids come to people and they're like, oh, hey, and act like they don't want to be bothered. You know what I'm saying? I don't care when I go to prides or anything like that, and I don't care how hot it is. My whole point is to reach every single person, eye contact with every single person, and I perform. I don't care how hot it is. Like, I will be out there until every person is done talking to me. That's what it's about. You're
Yeah,
serving. You are serving to your community because you are that example.
that's I couldn't have said it better myself. You're right. Especially, and it doesn't matter, like you said, the weather, what's going on. If I'm out in public and I'm doing my thing, like I'm doing it all the way.
There you have it. Exactly. Exactly.
So this is a totally out of the ballpark sort of one because we sort of got to a lot of these just in the conversation. So I'm gonna like I'm an animal person, so I was asking, do you have any pets? First of all, that's the first part.
My wife has pets. She has pugs. She used to do rescue, so she has 4 pugs.
Oh my God, that's yeah. I have 3 dogs at home, so it's kind of like I get that there's basically a herd all the time.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, and they're very loud and breathing. When we first met, I thought something was wrong with them. I said, they do that all night long.
No, that's what they do.
It was crazy. It was so crazy.
So you know, I'm sure the names of these 4 pugs.
Yes, I do. It is Pugsley, Benny, Salem, and Zoe.
The fact that one of the pugs is named Pugsley is probably like speaking to my heart right now. Just
He's blind, but he's he's hardcore though. He's the hardest out of everybody. You think he could bite a bull? I guess I don't know.
so does the Chihuahua we have. He's 5 pounds.
That's how it goes. Them little dogs are something.
I was about to say something about short trans guys like myself, but I think we all get where that joke's going.
Exactly.
So
From one to another.
It's the same. Some jokes I'm like, it's like IKEA. You put it together yourself. All the pieces are there.
I ain't heard that one.
Yeah. But so that was as a personal a gift there. So the second part of this question was if you could have any pet that's not like, a dog or a cat, an exotic animal, since you don't have any at all, right? What would that be? I always choose like otters or, maybe just even a hedgehog at this point. Not really.
I think I'd want a tiger.
I can absolutely see that, actually. Like it makes.
I would definitely want a tiger. They're very, very mysterious animals. Cats are. They are. Period.
Because first of all, people aren't going to mess with the tiger.
Yeah.
Tiger. But time there'll be a tiger playing with like a giant like rock they're like cat. They're still cats. It's
exactly. They're still playful.
Yeah. So I'm on board with that.
Awesome.
So you have the dogs at home. I mean, all of that. What else? What do you do to relax? Because I know we talk about all these things. You perform, do this. What do you do when you're like downtime?
I'm like thinking, do I even get downtime? Sleep. Sleep. We just sleep and go get our feet done. That's usually a good downtime.
Right. That's the self-care part. And I would have just as much of a hard time answering that question right now, actually.
Self-care is the best care.
For me, it's pretty kind of similar. I'll do like the little face mask, or because I mean, right now, budgeting for a step down. So my feet. I've never gotten a pedicure, and I think I'll kick somebody in the face. I'm pretty sure. So, but I that's my fear with that. But I get you. Tuning everything out and just focusing on that is definitely with what we do, especially like
right. Exactly.
Putting so much energy into other people and in the community. You need some time for yourself.
Yes, that is. Yeah, I'm just kind of I'm starting to value that.
It's definitely something that's hit me a lot harder. I turned 35 this year, so it was a big shift.
Well, I ain't gonna lie, being 30 is kind of hard. It is because I'm 37. So
Oh, 35. We're close. Yeah.
yeah.
But it's something that maybe did you feel like once you hit that point, and because 30 is a weird age within no matter any part of our community, did you feel like that was the start of a shift, or did it happen before or after that?
I think it happened after 30. It's kind of like you're kind of getting to that age. I kind of want to be more settled. I kind of want a little bit more out of life. I want more money. Like, yeah, it's kind of. I just think your brain triggers to that. You see more.
Definitely. And so this is, we're kind of getting to the last couple minutes here. So I have a couple more sort of roundabout ways to ask some of the things that I've, this is, we've talked definitely a lot about, the other projects that you've been involved in with the community down in Oklahoma, and just there, a lot of the impact you've had. And so my question is kind of like, how does Trans USA sort of fit into the advocacy work you've done so far? Like, how do you take what you have now and expand on that?
Well, that's good. I can expand on it now because I will be more focused on that platform when I go places. So it's not so all over the place. It's like focusing in on this, even if it's this year or just. I mean, I've kind of already been tapping into it just because, again, like how the laws have been progressing and how our center has been becoming more involved in certain things. And it's just like, I don't know, just no, I just feel like the more I can display and have this for a platform, the
Yeah,
better.
yeah, it makes sense too, because, and it's not a question you always have to have an answer to, right at the beginning. I think that it's one of those things that once you get there, even the experience you have in November is going to be one of the things that leads you into how it fits too, I think. So no, it's not a trick. It's something that you don't always have to have an answer
Okay,
to.
well, I just failed. Like,
No. I had a big, for me personally, I had this whole idea of this one platform being like focusing on more on showing on the positive side of being trans. But, once these laws started to sort of get out there and things started to get a little more chaotic for us as a community, it sort of shifted to being more of support and more of, okay, focusing on those issues that are, they may not be positive right now, but we need to go in that direction.
right.
So it can shift even, as the year goes on, like time and life happens.
Definitely that. Definitely that.
um, I just, speaking on that, having things shift, and really some of the more depressing things we still have to talk about. It's a fight that we can't really do alone, and we need a lot of allies. And sometimes people really don't know the best way to help. So I was wondering your thoughts on what advice would you have for people to be just better allies right now, like actual things they can do.
Yeah. I'm like, well, if you want to be involved in something, if you can't be there physically or donate your time or volunteer, you also can help financially. There's always things to do in that area. Always. So many foundations to go to. Like I'm like, if they're really that serious about it.
Yeah, and it doesn't take a lot. I mean,
No, I
even
don't.
a
It
few
really don't.
dollars from a bunch of people still adds up.
Yeah, it does. It really does. And I do believe that.
Yeah, it's when it's funny because I do the same thing when like doing sponsorship for a pageant. I'm like, you put five. That's why that list is so long, because some people like, I have $2 here, $5 here. Y'all
Yeah.
count right.
There you have it. Exactly. I don't discriminate against nothing.
Right. I've been there before, trading favor. Like, I'll make this flyer, but no, sometimes it is just trading resources.
Hmm.
And it works the same way with larger scale things for the community too.
Yep, exactly.
So I think, yeah, that's another lead into the last sort of question here. We talk about some more fun things in the pageant itself and all of this, but not necessarily like the competition part, but and all the things we want to do, we talked about. But out of the whole experience with Trans USA, just being there in November, what is the one thing you kind of want to get out of that? I mean, other than the medallion, I know that's like, like
Just
that's
the brotherhood, the new connections, the new brotherhoods, and how we can help each other out, and just take that what I've learned from any other pageantry. Like this is a valuable time. This is the best time to learn anything. If you don't take anything back from anybody, it's the words, the experience, and just
Yeah, you wanna put that dish in your mouth.
Hello, my name is Shay Brewer, aka Scrappy Legacy, and I am running for your Mr. Trans US of A, and I am also from Oklahoma. A couple of things that you can do to support our trans community. One, definitely educate yourself. Two, get involved in any type of organizations that are around your town, or you could Google. You can Google as it works wonders. Vote. Always exercise your right to vote. Contacting your state representatives is very helpful, and also speaking out. And just never, ever, ever be afraid to become an ally, because we definitely need your support. We lose lives every single day because people can't find support or live their life as trans female or trans man or non-binary. And that's what we're trying to change in the world. So let's fight together. Thank you.
Yeah, you wanna put that dish in your mouth.